Hi. Welcome to the Gonzo Radio Sports Desk. It's another magical Monday night here in palatial western Boca Raton. I am joined sitting across from me, matriculating from your left to your right, or is it north to south or east to west?
I thought I was always in the center.
You're an east-west run. Yeah, well, you are in the center, and you have the big banner behind you, too. It's the Mazz.
Hello, everybody.
Of course, I'm Big Daddy Gonzo. And thank you very, very much for tuning in. The Gonzo Radio Show. Of course, we've got the Gonzo Radio Sports Desk. We've got the Gonzo Radio Show happening later on. It's kind of tough when you're the host on both shows, and you have to. It's kind of like when I did radio, and if I was going to stay on, nobody wanted to work on like Saturday afternoon. So it'd be like, usually you do like 4 hours, and they were like, yeah, go ahead, do my show too. And so I'm on the radio for like 11 hours on a Saturday.
All that talent needs to be heard. So.
And yeah. And believe me, you're hoarse at the end of the day, too, because it was WFTL Talk Radio, and you had to change formats. So you'd have to say, hi, I'm Gonzo. I'm sitting in for Larry Siderman, or here's the Siderman Report. And it's like, wait, I don't know jack all about business. But okay, here he said talk about this, so I'm going to talk about that. But this is sports. I'm grounded.
Yay.
I'm in. I'm dialed in. I'm locked in.
There's a lot of stuff going on right now.
Oh yeah. Well, I'll tell you one thing though. On a sad note, is somebody that I'm gonna mention coming up at 8:00 as well. Hint, hint. Brody Stevens, a comedian who was a fan and a friend to the sports community, passed away recently. Friday, I believe it was. He passed away. We don't have any pictures, and we're not going to get into it. We just want to. We want to send our condolences out to the Stevens family. Brody was very, very well thought of amongst the sports community, professional wrestlers, Major League Baseball players. He was a producer and one of the people on the Best Damn Sports Show when it first started out. For those of you who remember that crazy-ass show, which I kind of want one of my own. But RIP from the sports angle. We'll talk about that again at 8:00. So, yes, Mazz, you were right. There's a bunch to get to. Why don't we start off with football?
Okay.
And then why don't we start off on the ownership level?
We can. There's a guy out there we can talk about.
Yeah, there's a guy out there we could talk about that we, once again, we got to reference back to 8:00, that we are going to roast the piss out of at 8:00. But for adult discussion purposes, because we really don't do adult discussions at 8:00, Robert Kraft. I've been very interested. I haven't talked to you in a few days. Been very interested in your take on Robert Kraft, especially as it gets dirtier and filthier as it goes along.
Right.
Because you know me, dirty old pervert. But you have a different perspective.
Well, no, I mean, dirty old pervert works, but I think that's probably the extent of some of the personal attacks we've seen on this poor guy. And I say poor guy, okay, not a poor guy, but I mean, again, he's a guy that's being lambasted in the news
poor guy.
Now. Bad choice, certainly. From the human trafficking side of this, obviously, any illegalities that were involved, and all those people need to be brought to justice.
Right.
But what was interesting is that, again, not all the names have come out, but some of the names that have come out seem to be some of these higher elitists, very hoity-toity rich people, essentially, guys that you would think would also would be making better choices. So maybe it's not better choices. Maybe it's just this elitist style behavior, maybe entitlement sort of thing creeping in, that these guys think they're untouchable. Maybe not the case.
Dirty old man. Again,
misdemeanor charges, I think, are pending, or whatever the case may be. He's got a trial date set, and he's got to appear soon. He's never going to serve jail time. He's going to pay a fine. Embarrassed to no end, I'm sure. But again, the more pressing side of this is the human trafficking side of this, and that all these people get brought to justice. There's no room for that in our society.
Human trafficking is bad.
Yeah, it's bad news. So
it's very bad. Not like the human trafficking that you do in the NFL every year when you're bringing these poor unsuspecting college kids in and drafting them. That's not human trafficking because you pay them very, very well.
Yeah, that's a whole different argument.
That's a whole different thing.
That's a whole different show.
Pay the kids in the NCAA.
So anyway, within a week or two, I mean, there'll be more news on this, I'm sure. More embarrassing stuff.
Who are you kidding? In about 55 minutes, there's going to be more news on this shit.
When the post-trial date, post-slap on the wrist, There'll be some closure to this, and then they'll hopefully focus on the more important things.
Like what?
Like the human trafficking, like get rid of these people, get rid of these establishments, so
so
that these old billionaires can go somewhere else and get their rocks off.
Oh yeah, that's for sure.
So that's the most important thing.
Well, why don't we talk about some serious football? How about that? Huh? Okay. Why don't we get to well, I wouldn't necessarily call him young. Well, he's only 31, but why don't we get to Antonio Brown? Okay. Being a Steelers fan, I know you're feeling personal and heartfelt, deep pain in this situation.
The deepness, it may not be as deep as that. Sure, I'm more in touch with the Steelers being a fan, but Antonio Brown, it looks like the bed's been laid in Pittsburgh, and he will no longer be a Steeler, him or Bell, obviously. So move on. Hopefully the Steelers do something what's best for the organization and what's best for Brown. No hard feelings. Make your money, go sign a deal, move on.
Well, they have made it clear that they are not going to trade him to anybody in the AFC North or the New England Patriots.
Of course, the Patriots, yeah.
Yes, that's okay.
Well, I mean,
I agree with that.
The X's and O's. I mean, you wouldn't trade a player that can give the other team information about your team.
No.
So you wouldn't do that.
And you wouldn't do anything to help enrich that team.
And face him twice a year? No, that's something that teams are interested in. So there are some speculative teams that are out there. NFC teams. I guess Antonio also mentioned that he was looking to be traded to the NFC. The Niners have a few picks in the first round they may be able to lose.
Well, Jerry Rice is recruiting him. Jerry Rice tweeted that he's a sure thing.
Yeah. So, and the Raiders have a few hundred picks that they could give up, and also I think 2 or 3 late first-round picks as well. So maybe the Raiders will be a destination for Mr. AB.
Well, I think what has happened is making this declaration that there's now a limited number of teams that they will trade to. They've hurt their value. They're bidding against themselves now.
Right.
It's as simple as that. They're bidding against themselves.
There hasn't been a necessary rush to go sign him. I think the stories are out in the last few days that only 3 teams really have showed interest. Who those 3 teams are, we don't know. But again, through speculation, we think some of them are like maybe the Raiders with the picks and the Niners with the picks. So it would make sense that he would fit in those environments. But today, I think it was I saw that he was on either Instagram or Twitter hanging around with Mr. Cam Newton. So
besties.
Maybe there's a Carolina Panther.
Well, I can tell you realistically, especially now that they've pigeonholed themselves, they would be lucky, and I mean lucky, to get a second-round draft choice. Maybe a second and a later, like a second and a 6, like a combination of picks. But they really kind of screwed themselves out of getting a first-round draft choice. They really have.
You know what? It's with all the noise for Brown, and maybe it wasn't in the cards to get a first-round pick. I mean, that's a huge investment for teams to give up for a receiver.
Huge.
For a receiver.
Yeah.
People are looking for quarterbacks. They're looking to build offensive, defensive lines. They're trying to anchor their team. Receivers are like icing on the cake. You can wipe them off and maybe go over a different flavor or something. I don't know. It sounded better in my head than when it came out. But they're icing, all right? They're not the cake is your offensive line, your defensive line. Obviously, your quarterback runs the franchise. Receivers, they're divas.
Got a lot of cake on your mind tonight.
There's some cake. Yeah, I'm having a dinner.
I mean, we're having coffee, so maybe we'll have some cake with that.
I've got one.
I think we've got pie. Anybody got pie out there? Anyway,
So anyway, my opinion quickly about that, going to possibly the Panthers, be careful.
3rd and a 5th.
Well, whatever the Steelers got back, I'm looking more on the Antonio side.
Right.
To me, that's not a home run. To me, Cam is not an elite quarterback. He's not a quarterback that puts the ball on the dime. He's not known for a good work ethic. That Panther franchise is a little bit loose, and I think adding another loose part, I don't know. I don't. To me, that's not a home run. To me, that's a risk.
Well, I think Rivera got their head coach. He got the meeting. He had the meeting with the general manager, the vote of confidence, which is sometimes the kiss of death. So if anything, you're going to see a little tightening of the grip. If anything, you're going to see a little – you watch and see, especially if they make a deal for Antonio Brown, how rah-rah Cam Newton is going to be coming into camp. It's going to be all hand clapping.
You know what? You may see a directional shift from the NFL and coaches and organizations to now finally wake up and go, you know what? Maybe the Patriots have this thing figured out. Discipline, regimen, consistency. accountability, all these things that define the Patriots organization and their success. And maybe you'll have a shift towards, I don't want to say dictatorships, but definitely less player coaches and more owners and organizational type coaches, and a behavioral change that may bring along this sort of thing.
Well, that's kind of like what the Dolphins did, because they went and raided. They got every former New England Patriot staffer that they could get to surround their new head coach Brian Flores. So it's kind of the Patriot way rubbing off on everybody else, and people are finally starting to see it. I mean, let's hope it works with the Dolphins. God knows, but we need something, anything to crawl out of mediocrity.
What about that kid from Alabama?
No. The kid from, you mean the kid from Oklahoma?
Well, which kid? I'm sorry. Oh, the quarterback, the one that nobody wants, the 5 foot.
Kyler Murray.
How tall is he? What is he? 5 foot.
Kyler Murray is shorter than our producer.
Okay. Well, unfortunately, I don't.
I mean, Bo, you're what, 5? You're 5'10", 5'9",
5'7",
5'7"
and a half.
I'm still going to say he's shorter than Bo.
I've never met anybody 5'7". They're always 5'7" and a half, and maybe it's just the women. They get that extra half inch. It's important to them. So
listen, in pro wrestling, and first of all, don't shake the table. You're shaking the camera.
I'm sorry, I was excited.
You and your big manly arms.
I know. I just got crazy over here. So. Oh
my God, he's an animal. But in pro wrestling, there are a lot of guys that are like 5'8", 5'9", that wear lifts. They wear lifts in their boots.
I believe it.
This guy's going to need like platform cleats.
This guy's been told that his entire life, and all he did last year was go out and win the Heisman.
He
is clearly, and I know you can't compare positions, but he's clearly one of the top 5 players in football last year in college football.
Okay.
And, I mean, the Heisman and the credibility of such, it's an award. I mean, there are many Heisman Trophy quarterbacks that have never made it into the NFL, have been busts. But this kid's not that kid. This kid can throw the football. All you can do is watch tape. I'm not doubting it. I go with the eyeball test. And if he looks good on tape, and he looks good in the stadium on Saturdays, and he's putting up numbers, my eyeballs are not lying. My eyeballs aren't going, God, I wish this kid was 6'2". My eyeballs are going, holy crap, this kid's really good. And he's going to make any team he goes to better. Any team that needs a quarterback, and there are 3 or 4 teams right now that are in that pivotal first round, middle first round, late first round, including the Dolphins, that need a quarterback.
Right. Well, I mean, listen, I understand the principle of the shorter quarterback, because New Orleans has been using it, and it has given birth to several other shorter quarterbacks, 5'9", 5'10" guys, a la Drew Brees. And that is shotgun with a 7-step drop. Your quarterback is 20 yards behind the line of scrimmage before he sets up to throw. In other words, you're trying to make the pass rush run themselves to death to get to the little dude. And he's this far back, he can see past everybody. And plus, Drew Brees has also developed that style of playing up on your toes, because he knows he's 5'11" or 5'10".
Here's a stat they don't have. They don't have the stat to show the number of tall quarterbacks that have failed. And if you saw the chart...
There's a couple of them in Miami.
Well, I'm saying is that off the hand, we can just start naming some. But I'm saying if you looked at the mass number of quarterbacks, tall quarterbacks, certainly if compared to the short quarterbacks, why? Because people will go after the tall quarterback. So who were all the other 6-foot Drew Breeses that didn't get a chance to play in the NFL that would have been Drew Brees, or just as good or better?
Right.
What about all the other Kyler Murrays now that can look up at Kyler Murray and go, holy crap, this kid won the Heisman, and he's 5 whatever.
In 5 years, there's going to be a bunch of midgets playing quarterback.
Do not play the result on the height and go, well, he had a great career despite this. No, he had a great career. He was a great quarterback. He was a great whatever.
If he survives.
Again, the game could be changing too. You get a new innovative coach like a McVay and the Rams. Nowadays, teams are looking to lock up franchise quarterbacks. And what they'll do then is essentially put their entire investment in that quarterback, system in place, whether it's new or old or any combination of such, and build it around these quarterbacks to maximize their potential.
Well, you just mentioned the Rams, okay? One thing that has been cropping up, whispers have been happening and have been going around about how maybe the Rams are going to cut bait with Jared Goff and find another quarterback.
I can't see that happening at all.
Because I mean, this is,
They already have that's their franchise quarterback.
he choked in the Super Bowl. He couldn't get anything done.
Yeah, and the other 30 quarterbacks were home. So
Brian Flores and that defense of the Patriots had him flummoxed all day long.
Well, then grats to the Patriots.
Oh, yeah, but
because listen,
you got to be able to adjust.
I don't know of an argument that could be made based upon getting rid of your franchise quarterback in year 3 who lost the Super Bowl.
Well,
to me, that's kind of hard to wrap my arms around. But I will say this, with any quarterback in any organization, and in that game particularly, he didn't play well. And down the stretch and in certain games, you can point to games where he didn't play maybe as well as expectations. But then so maybe you have to lower expectations and develop and build around to get the entire thing going in one direction instead of having to depend on your third-year quarterback.
Well, they proved that with the addition of C.J. Anderson, they had not only a run game, but a run game with insurance.
Gurley was the X factor.
Gurley was the X factor.
But everything I've seen about his health is, he's been healthy. I saw C.J. Anderson interview and say that, no, he was healthy. On the bikes, totally fine, practice every day. No way in God's green earth this guy was the best quarterback, the best running back in football for a year and a half. He was a beast. And he disappeared after an injury.
There's something wrong, obviously.
How do you not have your best player on the field?
Yeah, because and
it wasn't like, listen,
McVay's not stupid.
If you're nursing injuries, I get you take a series off, whatever the case. But if you looked in those games, Anderson was running consecutive series.
Yeah,
After 3 and outs, after possession changes, it wasn't just the fact of him running a couple of plays and giving Gurley a rest. He was resting for 8 and 10 minutes at a time. You can't tell me there's something wasn't wrong with him.
Yeah, waiting for the lidocaine to kick in.
Well, something will surface at some point, and I'm curious to see how they go into the offseason. So, because C.J. Anderson's not the answer, and we all know that.
Right.
But they need to address some things going into next year.
You're still looking at a situation where Todd Gurley is old school tough. He is. He's an old school tough kid. I mean, you saw the knee injuries that he had in college. Mm-hmm. You didn't hear that boy cry one time.
No, listen. This isn't a knock on Todd Gurley.
He came back and balled out both times.
No, this is, and again, I mean, the organization doesn't owe it to anybody to disclose anything to give an advantage away or not. But I mean, again, going back to the eyeball test, if you look at something that doesn't seem right, it's not right. And the kid is the best player on your team, and how is he not out there?
He won't own an excuse, though.
Well,
he won't.
And
he won't make an excuse.
And he shouldn't. And that's the true professionalism of Todd Gurley.
Yeah.
That's not a knock on him. Again, this isn't a knock on Gurley.
Right.
It's just there's some transparency issues here that were clear. You knocked Goff, and I'm saying that I don't think Goff is fully responsible.
Well, but I'm saying there are whispers that they may let Goff. They may let Goff's contract expire. They may not pick up his 5th year.
Well, then maybe that's the fire that he may need. Or maybe that's another piece of incentive that he uses to become one of the better quarterbacks in football.
Right. Well, okay. Bottom line is that McVay held Gurley out of the Super Bowl. Held him out because he didn't want him to get permanently damaged. He held him out. That's coach's decision. Okay, and because McVay is a touchy-feely player's coach.
Player in the NFL, no matter how injured they are,
plays video games with his coach with his
players. You can convince to not play in the biggest game of their lives.
The only person that can keep him on the sideline is McVay.
But again, I don't think that McVay would do that for what? To protect a potential future? This is a business. This isn't about next year. This is about that game.
I'm just saying there's a high potential of it because he's a very, very touchy-feely players coach.
And that's fine. But
players love him because he's one of them.
But this isn't baseball. This isn't when to put the shift on. This isn't throwing a guy up and in because he can't get to the fastball. This is your best player in your organization, and he's not on the field. So, granted, the coach decided to not put him there, but that's not any other reason other than he was physically unable to play. For one reason or another. Maybe it's deeper than that. We've heard stories about players that have gone a little cuckoo too. Now, again, not going on a limb here and saying he's cuckoo, but I'm saying there is definitely
he's
more.
Not cuckoo. He's not cuckoo.
It's just another thing.
I know.
It's 100 things, but it's not. There's no way that guy's not on the field. There's no way he's not on the field.
Well, there was obviously something wrong.
And that's something that we don't know.
Obviously.
Yeah, but again, golf is the answer in St. Louis. They have a quarterback now. And
in St. Louis, really? In St. Louis?
The other
Yeah,
team.
with
That's old
You mean
school.
Los Angeles?
That team too, whatever, the Rams. So that's definitely old school. I'm tired too.
We are a professional
We're here for you.
sports program.
Yeah, whatever. Listen, we're all about gist. We're not all about the rest. So
They get us.
you get the gist,
They
right?
get the gist.
All right, that's my. I'm all
Not
about
on my.
gist.
I just clean. Don't get any
I'm all
gist on
about
anything in
gist.
here.
No gist.
Oh, gist.
Gist.
All right. Well, have you got anything else on your agenda, or can we take a quick break?
We can break.
We can take a break.
Yeah, I got lots. We can break.
We'll
Come back and talk about some NBA. If you
Okay. Well, then we will come back with some NBA jibber jabber on the Gonzo Radio Sports Desk right after this. Welcome back to the Gonzo Radio Sports Desk. I did say Sports Desk on the outro, right? For the break. I hope I did.
I heard so.
I hope I did. I'm still getting used to it. Having a lot of fun doing it though. It's gratifying to be able to do this at least in a format, in a venue where we're not trying to yell over loud music.
Yes.
Or yell over the play-by-play of a game.
Well, from my perspective, I live with women. And I love them to death. They are my world. My wife, my child, and my dog, all female.
They know nothing about sports.
Sports hell. Sports hell. I'm in sports hell. Yes. So this is obviously a good release for me too.
Oh, okay.
So I thank you.
As long as you again keep the gist talk down to release gist.
Gist.
This is sports.
Simply gist.
It's not a family show.
Justly gist.
I'll say fuck, but
Oh, wow.
See?
That's a big
one. Yeah, I drop F-bombs. I don't care.
This is your show too, so.
Yeah, so F-ity F-F-F.
Yeah, whatever.
I don't feel the word. I don't feel the need to use the word unless I'm mad. And then I'll be mother effer.
Yeah. I'm generally not an effer guy either by nature, so.
Oh, no, I'm a foul mouth, but I'm a professional. For some strange reason, when I get a microphone in front of me, unless I'm doing stand-up comedy, which I've done 4 whole times, I really don't F it up.
You know what's awesome about us is we're so different, but yet we're so close.
I mean,
not literally, but
yeah. I mean, I'm good looking. You're
exactly. I'm here.
You copy my haircut.
I'm here.
You're there, and you copy my beard. Actually, I have beard envy. You have a better beard than I do. I hate you.
It's not real.
It's not real.
I'll show you what I do after the show. Comes right off.
You faker.
Yeah, I put it in the jar before I go to bed. I get up, put it right back on. Looks the same every day. Yeah.
See, I told you, Bo. He's gonna be a good substitute one day when nobody wants to come to the show and say, "Listen, why don't you just do the whole night?"
This is beer in a jar.
Oh, I'll turn you loose. Yeah, we take the beard off for the Gonzo Radio Show.
Okay,
keep the beard on for the sports show and take the beard off.
The agreement I made is I have to go to sleep exactly 1 hour after it goes in the jar. So,
how long's
the show?
Well, you mean the 8 o'clock show?
Yeah.
Oh, well, we're going to start emulating all the other podcasts, so it's going to be like, what, 3.5 hours, 4 hours? We might be done by midnight. I don't know.
We'll work something out.
Every other podcast I see on YouTube is 2.5 hours of 2 to 6 people talking to each other on really nice microphones. Really, I mean, I've got a really nice mic, and you've actually got a nice mic. You got a nice Shure mic over there. But these podcasts, I mean, and it's not sports. You would figure 2 to 6 people sitting around talking and they would have something to talk about. No,
Just life.
just stuff.
Well, there's a lot going on.
One or two subjects, 1 or 2 topics.
What amazes me is that people are actually interested in knowing
2.5
what it is that people
hours.
do. Yes.
2.5 hours. You and me did. We did 24 minutes. Talked about 3 subjects. One topic, 3 subjects.
Yeah, we got close to a few others, though.
And we jibber jabbered about other shit.
Yeah, well, we got close to a few others.
Right.
Yeah.
So
too close, in my opinion.
I mean, get to it, people. But you know what? And eventually, we may do a 2-hour, 3-hour podcast.
Sure.
We'll bring guests on.
Yeah.
You know,
I know 2 or 3 other people.
And we also know a few professional athletes who, if we can get past their agents, we can get them in here and we'll have a great time.
We do. We have ways.
We have ways.
We have ways. Okay.
It's just starting.
NBA stuff. Do you want to throw anything out there?
Well, you're just chomping at the bit to talk about the NBA.
NBA stuff. That's all.
Oh, NBA
well,
stuff.
I mean, the stories. It's playoff time almost. We got 20 games or so left for most teams, and obviously people are watching the Lakers.
And LeBron James is trying to flip the switch. Let's go. And he's flipping the switch up. It's like up, down, up, down. He's getting nothing.
No. Game 1, coming out of the break, though, they put it to Houston.
Yeah.
And they were down, I think, 18 at some point in that game?
That was the game. Wasn't that the game when Harden got hurt, though?
No, he played. He
played?
Yeah, he played.
No excuses.
Well, wait, did he play? I think he did play. He did. He was questionable coming in, but he played. But regardless, they were down 18, and they came back, and they stuck it to him, and then they crapped the bet against the Pelicans and lost. And got exposed again. Listen, last show I said the Lakers are going to make the playoffs. I said they're going to go on a 5-0 run coming out of the break.
Honk.
Well, I mean, they're 1-1. They've got a chance tonight. I think they're home against Memphis tonight, I believe. It's clearly up to LeBron. LeBron's not used to losing.
Did that red line?
No, that sounded like a foghorn to me.
I thought somebody was going to come through that wall, actually, but I wasn't too sure.
At least you didn't feel the chair vibrate.
Yeah.
But
All right.
ahead.
So, okay, poor LeBron. All right, poor LeBron.
Poor LeBron.
I'm just throwing it out there.
Poor LeBron, who's almost a billionaire. Poor LeBron.
This guy since 2004 has never had a record this bad with any team to this point. So he is concerned. He's not used to losing. It's a brand now for him. Again, he's almost like the NFL of the NBA. LeBron's the brand.
Oh, yeah.
So if the Lakers are losing, it's the LeBron brand. People are following everything he does.
Oh, yeah.
So you're going to see, in my opinion, a real effort here in the next couple of games strictly from LeBron. You're going to see some crazy numbers. It has to be. Here's what I'm noticing, though. He has taken breaks on the defensive end. And it's normal at a guy his age, with his pace, with the minutes that he's put on his body over the time.
Sure.
He's entitled to take some time off, I guess, on the floor on the defensive end. But he's not the player he was overall, and that's certainly not helping a young team with little direction. And
that's the reason why he's going to need a workhorse for a partner, 1 or 2. First of all, his presence is both hurting and helping Kyle Kuzma. Okay? It is. It's hurting and helping. It's hurting him because the focus of the offense is going away from him.
I don't know if Kuzma necessarily will ever be a 1 on any team. I don't
think but he can be a solid 2 or 3.
I think he's a 3. I'm telling you.
Well, that's fine. That's still an 18-10 guy. It's a double night every night.
But the offense doesn't run through your 3.
Right. Well, I understand that.
So, in my opinion, he is a guy that's going to stay. He is the dog on that team. He's the alpha male.
He's hindering his production, though.
Well, again, I think he is in a box like most of those guys that were been drugged through this free agency and trading over the last few weeks. Now they've settled in. Now they're going to have to assess talent. I think if you look at them on paper, the reality is there's a good dozen teams that are better than the Lakers, even with LeBron at this point.
Sure.
Now, again, put the ball in LeBron's hands and he's going to dominate a game, but he can't dominate every game. He can't dominate a series. Well, no, he's got to go through playoffs now.
Yeah.
You got to face the same team.
He's got to get to the playoffs.
Maybe
first.
well, I'm just saying if he gets to there, if he's got to go 5 and 6 nights, and he's got to play the same team every night. He's not going to dominate on a nightly basis. Not at this point.
No.
He doesn't have enough help. They've got to figure something out too.
If they were smart, if they got to the point where they were 6 to 8 games out of the 8th spot, should start shaving LeBron's minutes. Should really start.
Yeah. Oh, no question. You know what? It won't even take that long. There's 23 or so on the schedule. They'll know by next week, 4 or 5 games. Basically they'll know if they don't go 4-1, 5-0 in the next 4 or 5 games, 5, 6 games, whatever that math is, then it's a wrap.
Yeah, because let's just declare LeBron has a lower body injury, and just none of your business.
He will have another late March groin injury for sure.
A groin, yes, groin.
Sure.
Groin works for me.
Yeah, that groin's going to hurt again in March.
It's hard to even say strained groin.
Yeah.
It's hard to say that. Have you ever had a groin injury?
I've heard something down there, but I'm not sure it was my groin. I pulled muscles.
I'm gonna drop an F-bomb again. You know what the fucking groin is, okay?
Then yes, every muscle in my body has been pulled.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah, because I know that I have pulled both sides of my groin, one playing football and the other one roller skating. And the roller skating injury actually hurt more because the roller skating injury was more of a true pull.
Was it related to your work? Was it an all skate or was it
was an all skate slowly and carefully?
Well, then that's something to be
I used to
embarrassed
roller skate
about.
until I was like
6?
20.
Oh, 20? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
26?
So there. I'm an athlete.
All right, good.
But that groin pull, if you do it right, you can feel it and it will hurt when you're sitting still. And if you do anything like fart or cough
Things
or
I do
sneeze
every single day.
or blink, it hurts to blink. You can feel the blink down there. Yeah, it's very, very, it's a very pivotal muscle group. But anyway, pulled groin, strained groin, torn groin. Yeah. Oh, it hurts to say torn groin.
You know what we should start? This is just coming to me right now. Why don't we start a suck chart?
Suck chart?
1 to 100. 100 obviously being the suckiest.
Yeah.
So, and I think that gives it a pretty good range because not everything could be a 9, right? So, what is groin pull on the suck chart from 1 to 100?
1 to 100?
Yeah, now be careful with this. This is the first initial landing in the suck chart.
It's like an 88.
Oh, wow.
95.
All right, well, wait, 95 from the producer.
He's pulled a groin. Pulled a groin. You've obviously pulled a groin muscle.
It hurts.
Toothpick in the eye?
Skiing, is that how you did it?
Lifting.
Oh, okay.
Lifting a skier?
No,
just lifting shit.
Oh, okay, because that would have been more creative.
Yeah.
I'm not that bad at lifting up people.
All right, so 95 for groin pull.
Yeah.
Toothpick in the eye?
Toothpick in the eye, that's pretty high up there.
Again, I'm saying be careful.
That's high 80s, I'd say, about an 87, 88.
Just trying to get where you feel. Well, for me, groin pull, about a 60. There's got to be 40 things worse.
So there's actually like a 40% chance that you like a groin pull?
I just know there's 39 other things that have got to be worse.
Okay.
I'm going to go with that.
Yeah. Well, we're talking about gunshot
wounds.
wounds.
So anyway, sorry.
Gunshot wounds, that's 100.
Yeah.
Stabbing, that's 100.
Yeah, I think.
Anything that needs stitches, that sucks. Surgery sucks.
Yeah, I've had a few, but again, I can create a list of 39 pretty quickly. So,
okay.
Football, you ready?
You go to work on that.
Okay, cool. I will. Wait, I got you real quick. Okay, go. So, we got time for baseball.
Segue to baseball. Yeah.
Yes,
then we got to get out of here. We're going to start running into our 8 o'clock time.
We'll go fast. Baseball.
Straight to baseball. Well, let's talk about the pitch clock.
Okay,
the pitch clock. Matt Scherzer's bitching about the pitching clock.
Fair.
The pitch clock in spring training. But they've been using it in the
minor leagues.
The minors.
Since 2015. 14, actually.
So it's like going on their 5th year using it.
I get his point. I mean, some of these guys have been doing things a certain way very well a long time, so it makes sense that he wants to be...
Well, first of all, look at this weirdo. Are you showing Matt? Are you showing this guy? Like, Mr. Polychromatic eyeballs?
Shouldn't he get to wear a special contact? I think it's a distraction for the batters.
It's something weird, right?
Is there a sabermetric for that? I think
is
there
he
is.
giving me the evil eye while I'm trying to hit this ball?
He's like a Bond villain.
He looks like a Bond villain.
I'm scared. Yeah.
Okay, we're done making fun of his
All right,
eyeballs.
sorry. All right.
They can't help it.
Pitch clock. Again, he's not used to it. He's old school guy, and old school guys, I get it. He's done it well for a long time, and he's set in his ways, and he doesn't want to make a change. But he is not. I think he's in the minority in this decision. Like,
Well-
he's been around 5 years.
Well, plus, here's my question, okay? What if you get these pain-in-the-ass hitters that keep stepping out of the batter's box? Okay, these guys that like to take a step back and put the rest of the bat on their cup, and they want to redo the Velcro, tighten up both gloves, and take the wristbands, and then tap the bat off of both shoes.
Ricky Henderson hasn't played baseball in
Exactly.
a long time, and I think that is the I don't know, the mantra for some of the old school players. The game is hopefully
Their routine.
Yeah, the older players maybe are. But again, that's up to the umpires, I think, to kind of keep the game going. And if there are issues with some of the players, those issues will be addressed in the offseason. This will be something like now. It's being implemented during this offseason. So, or spring training. Let's get the terminology correct, because I want to get the gist of it. So the point is that it's working. Numbers, I think, from 1 year to the next, from 14 to 15, they said it cut about 5 minutes.
5
off the
whole
time of the game.
minutes.
Now, again, I mean, I'm more of a scientific kind of guy with the numbers, and there's no direct correlation. I mean, you can clearly say that, okay, well, just because you had 20 seconds between pitches, it saved exactly 5 minutes. No, that's not how it works. But it's a factor. And if
It moves the pace of the game along a little faster, would you say?
I don't understand this whole pace thing.
Neither do
Nobody
I.
buying a ticket to a baseball game is making that determining factor on that extra few minutes.
Yeah, I see the pitch clock as being extraneous, overkill. I really do.
To me, it's okay because if anything, it's symbolism to suggest that baseball is
We're trying
to do something. Okay, I mean you don't want your pitchers out there at 45 seconds. Again, you don't want that either. So,
Right.
So you do have to have some sort of concession, and the concession is the pitch clocks, and it's working. Again, it's been around for 5 years. So they'll get used to it. Just like instant replay, just like a lot of other things in baseball. Baseball's the last of all the sports to implement any changes. They're like dinosaurs making these
But
rules.
still, it's weird to have a clock in baseball. Baseball, what is one adjective that everybody always uses to describe baseball? Pastoral or pastoral. Okay,
Isn't there
there's
a
no
color?
clock.
Right. Listen, I get it, but that's not working now. People are.
There's no clock.
That's not who people are. People are all about
The
now.
clock tells you time.
They want to be entertained every second of every day. People are always looking for the next thing. So
Well, I don't care if you've got short-term memory loss.
the experience needs to
OCD,
change. They need to be
weirdos.
less concerned about the actual playing time, because even as a baseball purist like I am, I don't watch every single pitch of every single at bat. I don't do that. I watch a lot of it. I am coaching as I go along. I do weird baseball stuff. But for the majority of the fans, if I'm not watching every pitch, what's the majority of the fans doing? It's got to be the entire experience at that park has to want to keep people in the stadium. Getting people out of there 5 minutes faster, what kind of a business model is that?
Right.
If you're in my house or you're in my business, you're not going to spend money if you're not there. So baseball's telling me that to make it a better product, they're going to get you out 5 minutes faster. I mean, that's like, I remember dinner at my aunt's house. As soon as the bell rung, we had to go. So, I mean, is that the same thing here?
Well, I would make the 7th inning stretch a 15-minute halftime. Everybody go to the concession stand.
No, it's silly. That's not how it goes.
Go
So,
buy you some peanuts and Cracker Jack.
No, baseball.
And a
get
beer.
it. Make the changes, but not in that way. I mean,
Well-
pitch count work. The pitch clock's going to work. They've got to get used to it. But baseball needs to implement other changes.
I
to-
would tell them, say, quit rushing me.
yeah, just let me hang out for a while.
I mean, how many sporting events you can go and find people falling asleep in the stands? I mean, seriously.
It's true. But they're tired, and sometimes it's a long ride. So
Let me tell you one of the premier baseball moments of my life. Okay, I am dog tired, and I'm sitting in the left field third base bleachers at Pro Player Stadium, and Mike Stanton laces a foul ball right at me, right in my direction, direct line in my direction. I am laid out. I am back like this. I got my feet over the top of the seat. There's nobody there. There's like 2,000 people there. There's like 15 people in my section.
Right.
I'm sitting there with Russ. Sitting there, la-di-da. Boom, here comes the ball. Now I'm like, watching. I'm like, oh, it's going to hit in front of us. It hit a guy about 12 rows in front of me. He got his hands up. It skipped off his hands and Here's all I did to catch my first foul ball ever in the major leagues.
Wow.
Like this, boom.
Something you'll remember for the rest of your life.
For the rest of my life, I've got the ball. The ball is out there on
Clearly.
and don't touch my ball either.
But that's what baseball does.
That's
memories.
my baseball.
Memories.
That's my. Have you seen my baseball?
People go out there and find some memories, build
Right.
some memories in
But
baseball.
it's a deal where if you're dog tired and you want to sit around somewhere for 2.5 hours, maybe catch an hour nap. What's all the yelling about?
Listen, same popcorn.
Oh, somebody scored! Yay!
No different than going to a movie. It's
Right.
like it's under air.
Yep.
It's certainly
Sometimes.
not crowded. So I mean, and there's lots to eat. And
Yeah.
and you can put your feet up. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
And take a nap,
And take a nap.
especially at a Marlins game.
And a Marlins game. Yeah.
Sad. All right. I think we've officially run that. Have we got any more fun pictures?
No.
What you got?
Except for our social media.
Oh,
Remind me about next time. I have a baseball story for you from college, and where I injured a Major League Baseball player.
Oh, well, we'll save that for next week.
Next week, for sure. Yeah.
All right. Well, then say goodbye to the nice people.
Goodbye, nice people.
All right. Well, on behalf of myself and the Mazz, this has been the Gonzo Radio Sports Desk, and I can hear them getting rowdy outside the studio door right now. They're out in the green room
They're
raising
clawing to
hell.
come in.
It's the Gonzo Radio Show coming up at 8:00. Our special guest, Miss Deborah from Athena Home Novelties. It's sex toys
Tune
in about 17 minutes.
Tune
so
in.
Thanks once again for tuning in. We will see you again next week at 7:00 with the Mazz's interesting story about how he injured a major leaguer. I'm Big Daddy Gonzo. That's the Mazz, and we'll see you next week. Peace.
See ya.